So come into a comfortable seated position. And I think I say this every time, but if sitting cross-legged like this doesn't feel great, put a cushion underneath, or sit up against, your couch or the wall, or sit on a chair. It doesn't need to be looking like this. And then close down your eyes, and we'll start taking a deep breath in through the nose, releasing with a sigh through your mouth. And start your practice, starting to notice your breath. Bring your awareness to the breath. That immediate paying attention to your breath, you're taking your awareness from the outside world, from all the stuff that's happening, and you're bringing it inwards. Also, if your mind is feeling a bit busy, you're giving it something else to focus on. So with your awareness firmly anchored to your breath, you can start to deepen your inhalation and lengthen your exhalation. And do this gradually over the next few breaths. Each breath on the inhalation becoming a little deeper, and the exhalation a little longer. It's important to give yourself this time at the beginning of your practice to feel like you're fully arrived to your practice. Otherwise, we're doing movements with our bodies, with our minds in a completely other place. And part of our practice is being fully present and being here in the present moment. Our pranayama today, it's called Dirga pranayama, and fundamentally it's a 3-part inhalation. We inhale with a smooth and continuous inhalation, no strain, no pressure on the lungs, but we begin by feeling the belly expand, and then continuing the inhalation, feeling the rib cage expand, completing your inhalation, feeling the top of the chest lift. Pause for a couple of seconds, and then you'll exhale, relaxing the chest, and then the rib cage, and then your belly. And you can press your belly back towards the spine to get a more complete exhalation. So when you're ready, you can begin this. Beginning your inhalation, feeling belly expand, feeling the rib cage expand, upper chest, maybe the collarbones are lifting. Pause for a moment, and then exhaling, relaxing the chest, contracting the rib cage, contracting your belly, pressing the belly back towards your spine. And do that yourselves another 4 times in your own speed. It doesn't need to be any particular speed. Letting the breath be continuous and smooth, the belly, the rib cage, and the chest. Pausing, and then exhaling, feeling the contraction in that opposite order. As we go through our days, our breath gets a bit more confined and constricted to certain parts of the chest, or the shoulders start coming forward. So it's nice now to have the conscious opportunity to use the full extent of our lungs and our torso to create the space for our breath. And make the breath that you're currently on, make that the last in this cycle of breathing, and then return to a comfortable rhythm of inhaling, exhaling, roughly similar length. Resting your hands beside your body. On your inhalation, reach the hands above your head. You can take a deep breath and lift your shoulders to your ears. And as you exhale, feel the shoulders dropping down. On your next exhalation, the hands interlace, fingers interlace behind your back. Draw your shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other, lift your chest, slightly lift your chin. And exhaling to release. Rest your right hand on the ground. Inhaling, left hand reaches up. As you exhale, side bend to the right. Next time you take a deep breath in, have the feeling of ballooning out the left side of your rib cage. And as you next exhale, drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. And reach your left hand diagonally down to the ground, left shoulder away from your ear. Have this feeling of release into the left side of your neck. So you might adjust the shoulder or the chin, lifting your head, all the time keeping the left shoulder down. Staying with your steady breathing. Left fingers reaching down to the ground to bring your body upright. Right hand to your cheek and then lift your head back up to center. Left hand comes to the ground. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, side bend to the left. This time as you inhale, ballooning out the right side of your rib cage. And as you exhale, drop your left ear down to your left shoulder. And now right hand reaching diagonally away, right shoulder away from your ear. You can move your shoulder, move your chin, find that nice place to be in this pose, feeling the neck release. On your inhalation, reach those fingers down to the ground. Left hand to your left cheek. Lift your head back up to center. We do the lifting because you just released the neck, and the last thing you want to do is then scrunch it to pull your head upright again. Take your left hand to the outside of your right leg, right hand behind. Inhaling, sitting up tall. Exhale, spinal twist to the right. You can either keep your right fingers on the ground behind you, or take your right hand around to the left side of your hip and hold on to your trousers. Just notice within yourself if you feel your chin and face falling forward. Can you take the back of your head back, lengthen through the back of your neck? On your exhalation, release from the twist and then take your right elbow over your left. Bringing your palms together. You might be grabbing fingers or resting hands at the shoulders or the palms together. Inhaling to lift your elbows up. And then as you exhale, think shoulders down, especially the right shoulder because the right elbow is on top, so it might be sitting higher. Inhaling, elbows lift. Then exhaling, elbows draw down towards your lap, keeping your back straight. Noticing where the sensation in the shoulder, if it changes, if it moves somewhere else. Now inhaling to lift the elbows up. This time as you exhale, forearms go to the right, head to the left. Inhaling, coming back to center. And exhaling, releasing hands back to opposite knees. You can slide your left hand out, left hand comes behind. As you inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, spinal twist to the left. Again, this left hand can stay on the ground behind you, or you can reach it around to the outside of your right hip and hold your trousers. See if you can have a sense of equal lengthening through both sides of your body. And as you exhale, coming back to face the front again, left elbow over the right. Again, hands to the shoulders or palms coming towards each other. Inhale, elbows lift up. Exhale, shoulders down. Inhaling to lift the elbows. This time as you exhale, draw the elbows down towards your lap. So still sitting straight. Next inhalation lifts the elbows again, and as you exhale, forearms to the left and head to the right. Inhaling, coming back to center, and exhale to release. We're going to come and lie down on the ground just for a couple of poses, lying down, because we want to get our glute muscles, the backs of the hip muscles, starting to know that they're there. So lying down on your back, and then cross your right knee over your left, squeezing the inner thighs together, so as if you're sitting cross-legged on a chair. From here, bring the knees towards your chest, and you can hold around your knees or slide your hands along your shins towards your ankles. Feeling how that feels on the sides of the hip especially. And you have the option from here to start to take the feet towards the opposite walls. So like you're opening the feet to the side, although it might be a centimeter movement. And just notice the difference in the sensation in the sides of the hips or around the legs. From here, letting go of the legs, bring the feet back to the mat. Feet flat on the ground. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Knees are above the heels, so they're wider than your hips. Hands resting alongside you, palms facing up, coming into bridge pose, but with the feet wide. Keeping the knees open to the side, not letting them drop inwards. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, press the feet into the ground. Tuck your tailbone. Lift your lower, mid and upper back up towards the ceiling. See if you can keep the feeling of the knees over the heels, and then start to feel that your glute muscles and the muscles at the backs of your legs, maybe the sides of the legs, are working. On your exhalation, slowly lowering the upper, mid and lower back down to the ground. And then bring your feet back together again. We're going to take the left knee over the right and taking both knees towards your chest. You're squeezing your inner thighs together. You can hold your hands onto the knees or slide them down your shins towards the ankles. Feeling how this feels just now, and then you can experiment with taking the feet further out to the side. So you're not pulling in a way that causes discomfort in the knee. In fact, you can almost do this without using your hands, just opening the feet to the side. Just exploring the sensation, feeling how things feel on the sides of the hips. All the time, breathing with your steady rhythm of inhalation and exhalation. Bring your feet back down to the mat, uncross your legs. Take again the feet as wide as the mat, knees over heels. Squeezing your glute muscles on your inhalation, tuck the tailbone, lifting lower, mid and upper back up towards the ceiling. The feeling of the hip bones reaching up and the sit bones reaching towards the end of the mat or the end of your room. On your next exhalation, slowly lowering back down to the ground and bringing the feet back together again. Roll over onto your side, and it doesn't matter which side because you'll be doing the other side in a moment. Just make sure you can see me. You're stacking knees and ankles on top of the other, hips stacked also. You can rest your forearm on the ground, other hand here for stability, or you can rest your head on your hand. Just choose the one that feels better for you. We're going to be lifting the top knee off the bottom knee. I'll use top and bottom knee because you may be having a different leg on top than me. So on your inhalation, lifting just the knee up and exhaling very slowly, lowering back down. See if you can do this lifting without, as you lift, dropping this hip back. So keep pressing the top hip slightly forward as you lift. Your exhalation is lowering down. You can choose how fast you go. When you're moving really slowly, you're working on your strength and stability. When you move a little faster, you're letting the momentum assist you in the movement. And both of these are fine because it depends how it feels. And your exhalation lower down. I'm going to do another 3 times. I'm going to give you a variation option. So with the elbow under the shoulder, second option is ever so slightly lifting the hips and then taking the same action again. Each inhalation is knee lift. Each exhalation, knee lower. You can take it one more time. Exhaling lower, lower the hips down. Now, for you, it's either going to be flipping over to the other side or swiveling around, whichever one works for you. I'll face this way so I can still be seen. Elbow under shoulder, knees stacked, hips stacked. This hand on the ground is for your balance. Same thing on this side. On your inhalation, the top knee is lifting off the bottom knee, and slowly exhalation coming back down. So this, my knee lifts to here because that's just what my hip allows. Some of you will be lifting higher than that because that's the natural opening of your hip. And for some people, it will be less. And by less, I don't mean worse. It just means that that's the movement of your hip. And also this side may feel different to the other side. Often one side of our pelvis feels different to the other side because we use the different sides of our bodies in different ways. So for the last 3, you have the option of also lifting the hip off the ground, or you can keep the hip down. So we'll take 3 more times. Inhaling, lifting the knee up. Exhaling with control, lowering down. Inhaling to lift. This is actually an exercise for strengthening that piriformis. Piriformis is one of your external rotation muscles that's found underneath the gluteus maximus muscle, that main muscle of your glutes. So there's 6 little rotator muscles. I have a feeling I've done extra here. 1 for luck. From here, you can come up to seated and then come into tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And let's start with taking some circles with the hips, feeling into the effects of the movement so far on sensation in the glutes. Making sure you also circle in the other direction. These circles also are easing into your wrists, the knee joints, hip joints themselves, shoulders. Coming back into your tabletop position, on your next inhalation, tilt your pelvis, let the tummy dip down to the ground. Your chest is reaching forward between the arms and you lift your chin. And then as you exhale, feel that you're tucking the pelvis under. Feel a rounding of your back and the chin comes towards your chest. You're so in control of the movement here and you're working with your breath, your length of inhalation and then your length of exhalation, rounding your back. And take this one more time, inhaling, tilting the pelvis, tummy down, looking forward. Exhaling, tucking the tailbone, rounding your back. From here, back into tabletop position, have this feeling of chest and belly reaching away from the ground and then stretch your right leg straight back behind you. Rest your toes on the ground. Again, lifting belly and chest away from the mat and then lift the leg up. Try to keep that lift in your belly and chest. So when we lift the leg, we don't want to have everything sinking down. We're still using the muscles of the core. Have option also of reaching the left arm forward. Notice also if the head is hanging down to the ground, can you lift the back of your head A little bit more up towards the ceiling. From here, left hand comes back down. Keep lifting the right leg and then bend your right knee, still lifting tummy and chest off the ground. And now you're going to pulse the sole of the foot up and down towards the ceiling. And this only needs to be like a centimeter each way movement. It's not a big movement, but you're feeling that muscle engaging. On your exhalation, knee comes back down again. Walk your hands back towards the knees, hands coming onto your waist. So now, here we're going to take an extension of the spine, but you're going to work really hard on squeezing the muscles of your glutes. So on your inhalation, feel the chest lifting, squeeze your glute muscles, press the hip bones forward, draw the shoulder blades towards each other, elbows towards each other. You can choose whether you look at the ceiling or whether you keep your chin to your chest. Keep breathing. And if you can find this action, have the feeling that the sides of your thighs are trying to press out towards the sides of the room, but without moving anywhere. And notice the effect that has in your glute muscles. All the time breathing your nice steady rhythm of breath. Exhaling, releasing from the pose, hands coming back down to the ground. So again, lifting belly and chest away from the ground, left leg stretches back behind you, and then lifting left foot off the ground. Just making sure you don't arch the back when you do that, so you don't need to lift the leg too high. When your balance is there, you can add a right arm forward, if you wish. If it feels better with the hand on the ground, do that. Even reaching the arms forward with your fingers resting at the top of the mat is an option. On your exhalation, right hand comes back down. Bend your left knee, keep lifting your tummy and chest up, and then pulsing the sole of the left foot up and down towards the ceiling. So you're not arching the back as you do this, it's just the foot moving, everything else is lifting away from the ground. Left knee coming back to the mat, again walking your hands back, coming up onto your waist. So options here again, you can either keep the hands exactly as they are, pressing the hip bones forward, squeezing the glutes, lifting the chest, looking up to the ceiling, or if you wish, you can tuck the toes under and take the hands down to the ankles, keeping the chest lifting forward. So you choose which option you would like to do. I'm going to keep hands on the waist. So on your inhalation, lift the chest, squeeze the glutes, hip bones press forward, shoulder blades, elbows drawn together. And if you're taking the other option, you can drop the hands down towards your ankles. If your hands are on the ankles, keep having that lift of the chest up and the squeeze of the glutes. And then on your exhalation, releasing. Sitting back down onto the heels, walk your hands forward, resting the head down towards the ground. And relax. Focusing on your breath, and now in this position, feeling if you can have that feeling of the back of your body expanding and ballooning up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, that feeling of release of your front of your body towards the ground or into your legs. On your next inhalation, coming back up again, and then come and stand up. So I'm going to get you to stand with your knees and feet together, hands on the outsides of your legs just for a moment. And bend your knees as if you're sitting back on a chair, so hips are sitting down and back, hands on the outsides of the legs. Press your hands into your legs into the hands as if you're resisting. Actually, your legs just want to go to the side, but your hands are resisting that movement. And then at the same time, squeeze your glute muscles as strongly as you can. Notice if you feel an arching of your back, can you draw the tailbone down and away? And then keep the action of the legs and release the arms forward and up. On your next exhalation, walking the hands down the legs if you have back pain, but hands coming down towards the ground. It's totally fine to have a good old bend in the knees. Hands to thighs, inhaling for halfway lift. Exhaling, bend your knees so you can reach the ground and coming into tabletop position. I'm just turning this way so you can see. Take your left hand to the left side of your body, stretch your right leg out to the right side of your body. Foot flat on the ground, toes facing forward. Inhaling, the right hand reaching up to the ceiling. You can choose how much you press the hip bones forward. From here, take a bit more weight into your left hand and lift your right leg off the ground. You can decide how high you lift it. On your exhalation, the foot comes back down again. Bring the knees back in, coming back into tabletop position. I'm just moving here so you can see again. And step your right foot forward between your hands. On your inhalation, lifting the hands up to the ceiling, squeeze your glutes tight. And then resting your right hand on your thigh, left hand as if you're showing your bicep muscle here. Take the elbow across your body, left elbow outside right thigh, right hand resting on top of the left fist. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, spinal twist to the right. Keep pressing your right foot and your left shin down towards the ground. And see if you can keep squeezing and engaging your glute muscles. They're often the muscles that we suddenly relax again because we're thinking about other stuff. On your next exhalation, release from the twist, hands come back down to the ground. Tuck your left toes under, press those toes into the mat. Lift your left knee. Extra couple of breaths here, lengthening your chest forward and left heel back. So this two-way lengthening action. And now lift your hips up. Hop, 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 left foot closer to right. Bring the left foot beside the right. You're in a forward fold. Bending your knees, taking hands onto the thighs, inhaling, coming all the way up to standing. And exhaling, hands down. Same again, so have that same feeling when we come into this Utkatasana or chair pose, the feeling of the thighs pressing to the hands pressing, resisting that movement of the thighs. So on your inhalation, bend your knees, arms forward and up, hips down and back. Squeeze your glutes. Have the feeling of the thighs pressing out to the sides. You've still got your rhythm of breath going, where the exhalation is at least as long as your inhalation. And now, as you exhale, folding forward, hands coming down to the ground. Inhaling for halfway lift. Exhaling, hands to the ground, back into tabletop position. I'm turning this way so you can see. Taking your left hand, no, is that the side that we did? Wrong side. Right hand to the mat, left leg stretching out to the side, and then right hand reaching up to the ceiling. Really hope I have my left and my right correct here. Pressing the hip bones forward. Hopefully you're doing the opposite side to what you did. Taking a bit more weight into this top hand on the ground. You can then play around with lifting the stretched leg up. That could be a centimetre off the ground, or it could be just lightening the weight of the foot on the ground. On your exhalation, bring the foot back down again, hand comes down, and bring yourself back into tabletop position. Step your left foot forward between your hands, foot and shin pressing downwards as you inhale, lifting the arms up. Try to really work on feeling that you're using your glute muscles here rather than everything completely relaxed. Also tailbone down, front of the hips slightly lifted up. Resting left hand on your left thigh, right hand make a fist, and then the elbow comes across your body. Right elbow on the outside of your left thigh, left hand on top of right fist. Inhale to lengthen, exhale spinal twist to the left. On your next exhalation, releasing from the twist, hands coming back down to the mat. Tuck the right toes under, press the toes into the ground, lift your right knee. Now have the feeling of chest lengthening, heel reaching. If you've got the wall or the chair nearby, you can take your hands up a bit higher. Now lifting the hips up a bit, you can hop right foot towards the top, bring the feet back together again, forward fold. Bending your knees, hands up onto your thighs, inhaling, coming up to standing. And exhale, relax. Bending your knees. This time, crossing your right leg over the left, like we did when we were lying down. So the legs are fully crossed, right fully crossed over the left. You can rest the toes on the ground, or you can take this as a balance. And you're sitting on the imaginary chair. Then the arms also like we did, right elbow over left. The hands coming together, or resting on your shoulders. Lifting the elbows up, taking the forearms away from your face, and then sitting the hips back, squeezing the thighs together. On your inhalation, unknot yourself, arms reaching up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, hands come to the ground. Take a big step back with your right leg. Press your hands into the ground and then lift your left foot off the ground, hugging the knee and the thigh to your chest. Foot is floating. Then you're sending that left foot beside the right, plank position, and you can drop the knees to the ground. Inhale, lift belly and chest away from the ground. Exhale, slowly lowering flat down to the ground. Arms reaching alongside your body. Inhale, peel the chest, arms, legs off the mat. And exhaling to lower down. I'm going to do it one more time, but I want you to turn out both of your legs. So I'm going to stand up just to show you. At the moment, we are probably like this when we're lying down. Now, see if you can turn both of the legs out so they're externally rotated. We're going to do the same action with the legs like that. So the heels are kind of towards each other. Inhaling, lifting the legs, arms and chest. Maybe you feel it more in your glutes. And exhaling to lower down. Hands behind the shoulders. Inhale to lift up to tabletop position. Exhale, downward facing dog. Reconnecting with your breath, making sure there's still that steady rhythm. Lift your heels, bend your knees, look towards your hands. You can walk the feet or take some steps or even jump the feet back to the top of your mat. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. And exhaling, hands down. Same thing on the other side. So now you're crossing left leg over right, squeeze the thighs together, toes on the ground or lift it as a balance. And then sitting down on the imaginary chair, left elbow over right, hands together or resting on the shoulders. The hands are together, you're lifting the elbows and then trying to take hands and forearms away from the face. And keep breathing, finding one steady gaze point ahead. Inhaling, coming out of the pose, undo everything, arms reaching up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees so you can reach the ground and take a big step back, left leg. Press your hands to the ground. Inhale, lift your right foot off the mat. So everything is pulling up towards your belly and your chest. Send your right foot back beside the left. And you're in plank position. So you can drop the knees to the ground. Inhale to lift away from the ground. Exhale, lower down. Again, take that external rotation of both legs. So the heels are pointing towards each other. Arms reaching alongside your body. Inhale, lift the chest, the arms, the legs. Exhale to lower down. Let's take that one more time. Inhale to lift. Squeezing your glutes as tight as you can. And exhale to lower. Hands behind the shoulders. Inhaling, lifting to tabletop position. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Taking some nice deep breaths here. And lifting your heels, bend your knees, look towards the top of your mat. Step, jump or walk the feet back towards your hands. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhaling, coming all the way back up to standing. And exhaling, hands down. Hands in front of your chest, or if there's a wall or chair nearby, you can hold onto it even at the side. On your inhalation, the right knee comes up towards your chest. So notice what's happening on the left glutes when you lift your right knee. You're getting stability in this balance from the action of your glutes on the left side. On your next exhalation, with control, sending the right leg back, toes coming down to the ground, foot flat. So this right leg is stretched, left knee bent. Notice if you've crossed it slightly, so you might need to step it further out to the right. From here, squeeze the glutes, tailbone down, fronts of the hips slightly lifted, arms reaching up to the ceiling. On your exhalation, hands coming down, interlace the fingers behind your back. Inhale to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, keep the opening of the front of the chest. Take your torso forward. On your inhalation, lifting back up again. And then release the hands. Bring the palms together in front of your chest. Now slightly bringing your torso forward. Lift your right heel. Keep bringing the chest forward rather than rounding the back. Going to take the balance onto the left foot. On your inhalation, when you feel the balance is there, straightening that leg, lifting the right leg up. Feeling the support in the muscles of your back and your glutes and keeping this leg lifted. Doesn't matter how high you lift. Make sure there's sort of an equal amount of torso forward, so not here like this. So if the leg is lifted a little bit, you can keep your torso higher. If the leg is lifted a lot, you can take your torso a little lower. Have that connection between the two. From here, bend your right knee, sole of the foot pointing roughly up to the ceiling. And again, you can do that pulsing action we did when we were kneeling down. Then on your exhalation, right foot comes down to the ground, coming into a forward fold. Little bend into the knees, hands coming up onto your thighs, inhaling, coming up to standing. Exhale, relax. Same thing, left side. So the balance of the weight in both feet and then swaying it into your right foot, lightening the left foot, left knee lifts up. Feeling the right glute muscles tightening to stabilize you here. And then stepping the left leg back, foot comes flat to the ground, Virabhadrasana or warrior one position. Little tilt, squeezing the glutes, arms reaching up. When you lift your arms up, if you straight away notice the shoulders coming up, take a deep breath in, lift them even more, and then as you exhale, drop the shoulders down. Hands coming down and back, interlace your fingers. Inhale, draw the shoulder blades together, lift your chest. Exhale, fold forward. You may wish to lift the knuckles higher than I'm doing. Your inhalation lifts you back up again. And exhale to release the hands, palms together in front of your chest. Lengthening through your spine, torso comes slightly forward. Lift your left heel, take the weight into the right foot. Feel your balance, and then once the balance is there, you can experiment with lifting the foot, straightening right leg. Your choice how high you lift. Keep lifting the chest, reaching forward, squeezing your glute muscles. And then bending your left knee and pulsing the sole of the left foot up towards the ceiling. And then taking left foot down to the ground, forward fold. Bending your knees, hands onto your thighs. Inhaling, coming up to standing. And exhaling, hands down. All right. I'm going to use the width of the mat now. Toe heel, the feet. So the heels are just wider than your hips, toes pointing to the corners. On your inhalation, feel that lengthening action through the spine, out the top of your head. And as you exhale, bend the knees. Feel that it's the tailbone that guides you down the way rather than reaching towards the back. So the tailbone is angling down towards the ground. Like we did when we were doing Utkatasana chair pose, we're going to do the same thing with our hands against the legs. So place your hands on the outsides of your thighs and have that feeling that the knees are trying to press into your hands and out towards the back of the room, and your hands are trying to resist that action. So subtle, it doesn't need to be a big action. But noticing the effect it has on the muscles of your glutes and even the muscles under that, those rotation muscles. And then releasing the hands. Inhaling, coming back up to standing. Exhale, relax, toe heel the feet back together. We are going to come into something that does require us to use our muscles to keep the leg open to the side, so vrikshasana or tree pose. I'm going to give you a little variation here. So if you want to use something to support your balance, be near a wall, and then you don't need to, you can take the, oh my goodness, I have to balance on one foot out of your mind. So external rotation in the right leg. The foot can be against the ankle, or even with the toes resting on the ground. Lower leg or upper leg. Foot presses into leg, leg presses into foot. The glutes are squeezing, so when you do this, make sure that you're not sinking the hips down. There's a little pressing action in here. This is working. The palms together in front of your chest. So the variation we're going to do is, instead of having the feet now pressed against the inside of your leg, you're going to hover it there, create 1 centimeter gap. So take the foot away and just hold it there. For me, my foot slides further down. And then you're very much feeling what muscles are involved in holding your foot there. And slowly taking the knee forward and the foot comes down to the ground. We'll do the same thing with our left leg. External rotation, that's the turning out in the hip joint. You're choosing whether the foot is low or high. Pressing the foot in, feeling the knee open, feeling the action of stabilization on the right side as well. And then creating that space of about 1 centimeter, taking the foot away from the leg. feeling the amazing sensation that adds into our pose. And then the knee comes forward and foot down to the ground. Give the legs a little shake, the hips a shake, and come back to the top of your mat. On your inhalation, arms reaching up. Exhale, fold forward. If the back is feeling a bit tired, walk down the legs. Inhale for halfway lift. And then exhaling, bend the knees, hands to the ground, coming into tabletop position. Inhaling to tilt the pelvis, tummy down, look forward. And exhaling, tuck your tailbone under, rounding your back, chin to your chest. Inhaling, coming back to tabletop position, and then come and sit down on the ground. Stretching your, left leg forward, bend your right knee, right foot comes to the outside of the left leg. Left arm around your right knee, right hand behind. Inhale to sit up tall, exhale, spinal twist to the right. Those left toes are pointing up to the ceiling. On your exhalation, release from the twist. Take the leg off, then bend both of your knees, and the knees are going to go to the left side. So both knees coming down to the left side. Take the top leg off the bottom leg. We're going to come into a variation on pigeon pose, which is quite a hip opening, hip closing. So we're kind of doing it as a counter to the twist we just did. Can you line yourself up? Now you're going to be sitting very much on the left side of your hip, so don't try and square the hips. Shin in line with the top of your mat and your thigh in line with the side. So it's very much two sides of a square. Back leg can be something similar. And you're leaning over to the left side of your hip. You can take your hands forward. It's kind of a knee safe version. You should have contact with the ground with the entire outside of your left leg. So it's pressing flat into the ground. Walking the hands forward. Inhale, lengthening through the spine. Now from here, you can take your elbows down, head down, or you can stay here. And you can also choose what you do with the right leg, which may be straightening out. We're not trying to press that hip down. You can stay lifted because we're not lifting our backs up. So you choose what you're doing with the back leg, and you choose what you're doing with your body at the front. Keep breathing your steady pace, deep inhalation and exhalation. So wherever you are, if you have straightened out that right leg, bend it in a little bit more again, and then slowly lift your body up, making sure you're tilted over to the left side of your hip. You can bend that left leg a bit more. Stack right knee on top of left, bring the knees back up. Now you're straightening out the right leg, the left foot crosses over, the right arm around the left leg, left hand behind. Inhale to lengthen through the spine, exhale, spinal twist to the left. On your exhalation, release from the twist, undo the legs, and now we come into that variation on pigeon pose on the other side. Knees drop down to the right, take the left leg off, lining up the front of your shin with the front of your mat, the side of your, or the, what do you call this, thigh at the side of the mat. So it's two sides of a square, 90-degree angle. This hip is lifted up quite high, so you can be leaning really far over to the side. Then you're walking the hands forward. You can choose what you do with the left leg, straightening it or keeping it bent. You can choose how far down you come. So wherever you are, if you have straightened out that left leg, bend it again. Lifting your body up, you can bend in the right leg a bit more, stack the left on top of the right, bring the knees back up to center. That was quite a lot we did with strengthening in the back. We want to now come into a neutral place for our spine. So you're going to lie flat on the ground. And then for the feet, for the legs, bringing the soles of the feet together, let the knees open to the sides. If that's not feeling great for anybody, then take the feet as wide as your mat, let the knees come in towards each other, and see if there is one of those that feels better than the other. And otherwise, it's knees over heels, and just you're lying with your knees bent, hands on the belly. You choose the option that feels better for your back today. And this is your last of the asanas, of the postures before our final relaxation. So feel the body trying to release and relax into the pose. Now we're not trying to make our muscles work while we're in the pose. You can relax your muscles, but you're still active with your breath awareness, making the breath the steady rhythm, and feeling what you feel in the pose, which if it's not feeling great, you're going to change it and adjust it until it does feel good. If you're resting your hands on your belly, you can start to remind yourself of the pranayama, the breathing exercise we did at the beginning, with the inhalation, ballooning your belly, rib cage, and then lifting the chest, and then in reverse order on the exhalation. The hands on your belly, or even on your chest as well, you can feel that movement in your torso. When you are ready, take your hands outside the knees if they're wide, bring the knees back together again. And you're lying down already, so you can stretch your legs out or keep the knees bent, arms to the side. Close down your eyes. Take a deep breath in and sigh your breath out. Now you're flicking the switch, no longer controlling, but now being the passive observer of your breath. Your breath is happening. You don't need to do anything about it. And in this last couple of minutes, give yourself this time to not have to do anything, not have to physically do anything, not have to mentally think about anything. Even giving yourself a rest from thinking about all the shoulds, the things you feel you should be doing or could be doing. Be okay with this thing of not doing and your being. Have the feeling of your body completely relaxing on the ground. All of the muscles releasing into the surface beneath you. If we take the theme of the weather at the moment, imagine yourself wrapped up, totally cozy and warm, and lying on the snow, and that feeling of ever so slightly sinking into the soft surface of the snow. All your muscles completely relaxed. And experiencing the stillness of snowy weather. And it's just so silent outside. Everything feels quite serene and pristine. vastness of the white. When the snowflakes fall, you can feel the uniqueness of each of them as they fall gently and silently around you. Letting your body completely relax. And your mind. Inhabiting this place of stillness and peace. Now start to gently deepen your breath. And as you deepen your breath, have a sense of your body in your space. Having a sense of the time of the day. And begin to move your fingers and move your toes. Maybe stretching your body. You can roll over when you're ready onto your side. And when you're ready, come and sit up again. We'll close our practice with the palms together or hands resting on your heart, and take a deep breath in, sighing your breath out, acknowledging how you feel right now, and feeling good, sending that thanks to yourself for giving yourself yoga in your day, this time, this nurture, this care of you. And from me to each of you, thank you for being here and sharing your practice. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. Thank you so much.